What's up, people? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Fans Corner. I'm your host, Shego, and guys, it's great to be back here with you. We've been away for a while because of the World Cup, exciting World Cup. We have seen a lot of things tactically, in terms of individuals, in terms of team setup, a lot of things that we're enjoying ourselves. We are doing this analysis as we are able to do a lot of games, but we are doing them. And so we've taken a time off United transfer window, but we have to talk about it because a lot of players have been linked with Manchester United and we have to analyze them. And over a few days, we've had a lot of players, Luis Hall, Marcus Fernandes. Now we're talking about Summerville. Sander Berge is even popping up. So guys, we've done analysis on Luis Hall before. We've done analysis 2 videos on Marcus Fernandes. So if you want to actually watch those contents, I think I'll attach them at the end of this video. To please go and check them and watch them, because we'll be doing more analysis on those players, but it will be much more in-depth. We've done a surface level profile assessment, a surface level pros and cons of the players and what they can improve upon. So please check those videos. And so when we come back to do more analysis on those players, it will be much more in-depth, based on data, based on stats, to understand what the stats are telling us about them. So guys, let's jump right into today's analysis on a player that's been linked with us, 24-year-old Crysencio Summerville from West Ham. Let's analyze him. Is it a fit for United? Is it someone we should be looking at? Is he good enough for us? Does he solve a problem in our squad? So let's jump right into it. I think the first thing I would always say when it comes to the left wing position of Man United currently, based on the current dynamics, is the fact that there's going to be a battle for minutes in that position. When you have Matheus Cunha, you have Patrick Dogu in that role, and they can actually do that role well to their own capacity and to their own profile. So you just have to understand that whoever you want to bring in must not be someone that demands that they must start every single game. I think it's someone that, first of all, must be good enough for the team, but also must understand that it's a battle for minutes. And that's why you see when I analyzed people like Iliman Ndiaye, I analyzed people like even Matheus Mane for Wolves, I've always said, I believe it should be a player that is resigned to just, I'll fight for minutes, I'll prove myself when I'm giving those minutes, but I'm not going to expect 100% that I'm walking into the first team, right? And I've always advocated for maybe a much younger prospect that can develop with the likes of Dogu, Cunha, playing most of the games for coming. But it's interesting that United has decided to go for Summerville, and let's look into what he can bring. Let's see if he's good enough. What profile does he present to this team, right? So let's move more into it. So I think one of the first things you see about Summerville is the fact that, and that's one of the things I like about him. Even before United were linked to Summerville, I've watched some of his games, and I always like that about Summerville, because I believe every player should have that, especially wingers should have that. And I believe that is the ability to use your right and left foot. And I think Summerville does it well. For example, when you look at the goal he scored for Holland against Japan, I watched that game and analyzed that game. You can check the analysis. I praised him in that analysis where I said the goal came from using his left foot. He was playing as a right winger. He's someone that can play left wing, right wing, and he will do it very well, because left wing he can make use of his right wing he can make use of his left. And you can see the goal came inside and had that shot with his left foot. And I think you will see that's what the guy brings in terms of those are the qualities he has, in terms of he's able to use both feet, he's able to play both wings, he's able to even come in the center and do a lot of good things there. And I think that's a very, very good quality of Eves. And I think one thing about Summerville also is the fact that because of his ability to move in those zones, and I think even when you look at, for example, you look at the Holland game, which is a very good example to analyze this. I say that I analyzed that there was a particular movement of Summerville to disrupt the defensive line of Japan. And that's one of his major qualities, in the sense of the ability for him to always move. And whenever you move like that, there must be a player that will want to follow you, or certain players will abandon their primary role to follow you. And as a result of that, you drag players out of position. And I think that's what he tried to do in Japan, where Japan were with a 5 at the back, and he was told, or he was instructed by the manager, to drop back from the right wing position to the right back position. So when he drops back, the left wing back of Japan has to either follow him, and once they follow him, they create an opportunity for the likes of Dumfries to operate in that zone. And you can see that particular movement, him and Dumfries, Dumfries entering in, incoming back there. So That kind of dynamics is what you would expect from a Summerville. A Summerville can be on the right wing, can come inside the center, and when it comes inside the center, the likes of Bruno Fernandes can operate in that side, right? Or a Dalot can operate in that side. A Summerville can be playing on the left, can come inside. A Bruno can go there, or even can form a box midfield with Bruno, while the likes of Luis Hall or Dogu, if Dogu plays as a left back, can really operate in that side. Sometimes it could be to drag people out of position. You can use him on a Dogu. He comes back, Dogu comes up, or a Dalot, in comes back, Dalot goes up, and creates those kind of taking players out of position, causing difficulties, trying to create those kind of flexibility for the opposition team. And the opposition team, we have a lot of issues, when he does that. So I think that's something I've always liked about him. So let's move on to other qualities. Obviously, you see that the guy has fast feet. He's a fast feet guy, someone that has close control. And that's why the movement he does in terms of into space and how that a lot of choked and tight spaces is able to try to meander his way through them because of close control, fast feet. Is able to do a little bit of dribbling, carrying the ball in those situations, close control to evade certain moments. But I also believe that in that situation, I would want Summerville, and I've seen it for a long time, not because of him analyzing him, that I would want him to release the ball quicker. Because I believe a part of his game that he needs to improve upon is not just, yes, we know the quality of taking the ball and moving inside, driving inside the tight spaces and try to create certain situations, which will, cause problems for the opposition when they're in a low block, because you always want someone that's mobile that can cause some, variations in terms of pushing people out of position, right? As I said earlier. But another thing he needs to improve is not just taking too much out on the ball, is when you drag people out of position a bit, pass the ball and attack the space. I think that's something he needs to work upon in terms of Summerville should pass the ball and attack the space. And I think if he does that, he would have more variety to his game. I think sometimes he holds the ball too much. Maybe he should have just pass, enter into space and create problems. And people understand those 1-on-1, 2 situations and cause damage. So I think that's something he needs to do. And I think when you are a player that moves into tight spaces, try to meander your way through your fast feet, physicality also needs to be something that needs to be assessed. And I think in as much as he's not the most physical of players, I think he has a good balance. And I think when you watch him, you see that sometimes he can be bodied off. Sometimes he's smart enough to understand that there will be physical contact, and he's also wise enough in certain situations to cause a foul for the opponent. And I think that's someone you would love to have, someone that can do his movement and in danger zones, cause maybe a free kick or even a penalty, depending on how we go. Is that silky? Is that is that slimy? That's the perfect word, slimy, in such a way that it could cause situations for the opposition's defender. So I think another part of his game also is the fact that the confidence to always run at players. I think over the years at Barcelona United, I've seen players that have always had confidence when they play for a lower team to run at players. And my prayer would always be, I hope that when they come to Man United, they can retain that quality, right? They can retain that confidence. And I think that for Summerville, that would be a big thing for me. If Summerville comes to Manchester United and can still retain his ability to run at players, I think that would be very, 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 very good. Very, very good for me if he can do that, because I believe it's a quality of his that would make him, to be a good player. Because running at players, taking into the byline in both sides, and the ability to use his right to cross in or cut back, the ability to use his on the left to use his left to cut in and cut back, is really a good thing. It's really, really, really a good thing. I think those are the qualities you see. I don't pray he loses that confidence to run at players, to run into spaces, to always be that proactive person. I think you need that, because sometimes you see, as I said earlier, you see players when they come to big teams, when they come under pressure, you pass to them and they can't take on, they just pass back. You don't want to see that about him. So obviously it's going to help at low block situations, because as I said earlier, his movement will cause a lot of damage to opposition. I think that's one of his big qualities, is that movement sides and around. I think the manager, if Man United decides to go for him, which I believe it will be a perfect fit considering the squad makeup, I think it's someone that can improve his game to higher levels, and I think it's someone that will be contented to fight for minutes. Yeah, so he can end up being the starter, But in that position, he is someone that I believe will be willing to fight for minutes. So good and fine if he's able to fight for minutes, or it's someone good and fine if he's able to, to choose selected games where he plays, right? But I think even in second half situations when you need to break a low block, or it's someone that I believe the way I see it should be contented with coming in that situation, starting or coming from the bench and doing very well. So far is that left wing position. I think in situations also where you want to change the dynamics of the game, you can use a Matheus Cunha or your Dogu in the left, and you can also use Summerville on the right. It offers that dynamic. Sometimes you can make him play centrally, cause some damage, and Bruno can, as usual, what Bruno will be doing under Michael Carrick to play at the side and create situations for them. So off the ball, I think he's very decent off the ball. Yes, obviously, he's a winger. The kind of winger he is, silky. He's not going to be the aggressive tackler, but in terms of he's willing to do the work, he's willing to come back, he's willing to do the work, and I think that's a good quality. He's willing to put his body on the line to attack, to try and ward off attackers, and I think it's a good thing. Lastly, I would say he has a good kicking technique, and I think that's a very, very good thing for him. I think he needs to improve on it, obviously, because I believe his output should be much, much better than what he's doing, and I think one, he needs to be much better on the kicking technique. He's good already, but I think he can be much more better. And I think also he needs to focus more on, as I said earlier, passing and moving into space, right? Passing and opening yourself up to receive in more dangerous zones, and not just holding the ball to want to push and just holding the ball for this ball sick, and at the end you now release it. When you release it to the person that is there, the person has to now take one ambitious run, or the person has to now come back and pass, where you could have just pass and open up yourself for the player. So I think those are the things he needs to do. Obviously, he offers a lot more variation than I know Cunha also offers those variations in terms of variation, but I think he also can offer those kind of variations and even much more in terms of, but it depends on, all depends. Even Cunha could have, but I think all depends on the coach's instruction really in terms of the zones that you should cover. But I think the guy is a player that can cover a lot of zones, and I think it's someone that is good. I think it's a good fit, really, if you get him. If it's at a good price, I think it's a good fit because we are not looking for a starter on that. Yes, you want a player that can start. Don't get me wrong, but you don't want someone that is coming and saying, "No, I must start everything." I think you want someone that understands the situation, as I said many times, to fight for minutes. And I think, but also someone that has a quality to start if need be. So, guys, let me have your opinion on Crysencio, Summerville, 24 years old, from West Ham currently, that United is being linked with. Let me have your opinion. Do you think it's a good player we should be going for? Do you think you don't like him? Let me know why you don't like him. Let me know the things I should have said I didn't say about him. Let me have your opinions really about him. So, guys, please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share this video. Thank you for sticking with us. We really enjoy your support. It's a World Cup season. We are doing a lot of analysis. Watch our videos on the analysis of the World Cup. And at the end of this video, as I promised, I'm going to attach the Luis Hall and Marcus Fernandez analysis we've done before. Please watch them. Exciting episodes. We're going to be doing more when we see that the news is much more concrete. So until I see you next time. Bye.